Assalamu alaikum. My name is Pakiza, student of MS Chemistry. Under the supervision of Dr. Hamad Majid, I am going to present the topic surgical instruments manufacturing industry. First of all, we discuss about the abstract. A growing market exists for new and innovative surgical instruments that improve the end user experience for both surgeons and patients. This growth is especially driven by new instruments for minimally invasive procedures. In December 2020, Marquis was reported the global minimally invasive surgical instrument market is expected to exceed $26 billion by 2024 at a compound annual growth rate of 12% over that period. Instruments are broadly categorized as an individual tool or complete system that helps the surgeon, operating room team, and the healthcare system secure the implant in patient to achieve the best possible outcome. Surgical instrument can be made of a variety of materials. Surgical stainless steel is the most common. In metallurgy process, stainless steel refers to a steel alloy in which the raw steel is combined with other materials. In this, the carbon of amount is added to improve the strength of steel, and at least 11% chromium is added for corrosion resistance. The process by which surgical instruments are created, including fogging, grinding, milling, and finishing and heat treating. Instruments, whether single use or reusable, are often complicated to design and manufacture. They can be complex assemblies that utilize a range of materials and involve material process, including precision machining, welding, testing, packaging, and sterilization. Often, a device is used in combination with two or three other instruments at the same time, making it imperative they work together with the utmost precision. This typically requires machining tolerance that are tighter than tolerances for product. With spinal surgeries, for example, a ratcheting screwdriver's handle will come with a quick connector to lock onto various surgical instruments. The ratcheting screwdriver's handle must offer very precise driving performance and at the same time retain the very various modular instrument it attaches to. This creates the need for the two devices to fit together seamlessly without any unintended movement or play. We design our ratchets and our quick connector to be very precise to help surgeons perform surgeries better and safer. Reusable orthopedic instruments are some of the most complicated devices in the medical world. Orthopedic instruments are the one which the surgeons are used to connect the bones or the muscles. They can have many components, complex assemblies, and moving parts. For example, architectures can have 70 components or more. All these different parts must work perfectly together. The design complexity of reusable instrument is not, however, the biggest challenge for contract managers. Instead, it is how to manufacture them efficiently when their volumes are limited. Original instrument manufacturers place big orders when first launching a new reusable product. Subsequent orders get smaller and smaller because the instruments stay in use. On the other hand, disposable instruments and implants are consumable, so there is a large return on the investment for the contract manufacturers for these products. While it can make sense to purchase specialized machines and gauges when a steady stream of order is expected, there may not be a return over investment to do so for a reusable instrument order. To keep costs down for the original instrument manufacturers, the supplier might need to rely on fixtures and equipment that can be used for a variety of products. The final product is the same, but the path for getting there is more difficult. Introduction. The development of surgical instruments began thousands of years ago and continues to evolve. National and international government agencies regulate the manufacturing of instruments in some cases, and the different regulation can affect instrument quality. Although stainless steel contains a lot of iron and chromium with other metal and non-metal material, its composition can vary. This variation may cause instrument to function differently than expected. The manufacturing process for surgical instrument is complex and operative nurses should understand the process. When making these decisions, operative nurses, sterile processing department, and the manufacturer's representative to discuss the scope of use and plans for reprocessing. Surgical instruments functionality can affect procedure efficiency, patient outcomes, surgeon satisfaction. Knowledge about surgical instrument manufacturing should help operative team provide safer care for their parents. Next, we can discuss about the manufacturing of instrument, the process which is in use in the manufacturing of instruments. Surgical instruments are manufactured in response to the ever increasing need for variety and efficiency in the surgical area. As there are thousands of instrument patterns, the production process for various instruments differ. But once the raw material are in place, the manufacturing process can begin. Following are the major manufacturing steps utilized to create surgical instruments. So number one is forging. Forging is the most important step in which the blank block of stainless steel is used. There are mainly two types of fogging. The one is heat fogged and other is cold fogged. The majority of instruments are heat fogged. In this, the excess material called the flash is trimmed to a more desirable shape and cooled. One of the advantages of stainless steel is its ability to be fabricated by all types of manufacturing techniques. Steel can be folded, bent, rolled, formed, and hard or cold fogged, etc. The step 2 is press work. After getting a crude shape impression in a piece of metal, the excess material around that shape is cut off to get more desirable shape in the form of foggings. The step 3 is milling. In the step 3, the other parts are removed and a shape is given to the raw material or to the product. Through milling, different features such as serrations, ratchets, different types of grooves, etc. are produced in surgical instruments. Number 4 is grinding or filling. These are material removing process using different types of grindings, wheels and files. This is a very critical stage in the instrument manufacturing because there are the basis for the general shaping produced using different type of gauges and the initial stage settings are done. Number 5 is the heat treatment. Heat treatment is done to the physical and and mechanical properties without changing the original shape and size. Like annealing is done to soften the material and tempering is done to produce toughness in the instrument. In the heat treatment, the physical and the mechanical properties doesn't change, but the product change. Like this in the annealing, the softness in the instrument is appearance coming and the tempering, the toughness in the instrument arrive. Thus heat treating is very useful process to help other manufacturing process and also improve product performance by increasing strength or provide other desirable characteristics. The number 6 is chemical treatment. The main purpose of the chemical treatment is to clean the surface of the steel parts, and if carried out properly, they all increase the corrosion resistance. The main process used in the surgical manufacturing includes, in the chemical treatment there are different further steps. So number 1 is the pickling. It is usually done after the heat treatment process to remove the scale formed because of oxidation. In this we use sulfuric acid or nitric acid is you or nitric acid. The number 2 is passivation. The passivation is performed when free iron oxide scale, rust, iron particles, chips, metal chips adversely affect the stability of surface. Passivation consists of immersing stainless steel instruments in a solution of nitric acid and sodium dichromate. The number 3 is electropolishing. Passivation is also accomplished by electropolishing. Electropolishing is an electrochemical process that is super passivator of stainless steel and results in a more passive surface. The metal which is electropolished give a bright surface and appearance of metals look fine. The second advantage is that some burr is also removed in this process. Most commonly, the phosphoric acid and sulfuric acids are used in conjunction with a high current density to clean and smooth the surface of steel. After chemical treatment, the number 7 point is fixing. At this stage, the settings are done to align the instrument with proper functioning. At number 8, polishing or buffing are done. These are the metal finishing process to produce polishing and buffing. These are the metal finishing process to produce different types of appearances like mirror or dial. Different abrasives are used on a work wheel to finalize the finish. At the last, the checking and packing is the final point. The instruments are checked for desired specification and sent for final inspection and testing before packing. Next, we will discuss about the new technologies in the manufacturing of surgical instrument. Computerized numerical control machines continue to improve with more access that allow the machining of complex components in a single setup with easier user interfaces. Micromachining with femtoseconds lasers, especially for creating tiny complex parts and surface texture, is often the only way to make some of these parts and products. Robots on the manufacturing floor are now becoming so easy to use that they do not require engineers or dedicated technicians to program them. Collaborative robots can now work safely in the presence of human workers. Tegra Medical Company is using robots in its factories to perform some of the most repetitive efficiently and consistently. The robots have built-in sensor or optical safety system that make them automatically stop operating if they encounter objects or people in their workspace. According to Tegra Medical Company, this enables our workers and robots to work side by side, creating a collaborative work relationship between the robots and operators. Advanced materials have a key role to play in design of next generation surgical instruments. Original instrument manufacturers have greater expectation of their raw material suppliers for top materials quality, reliability and performance, especially durability, hardness and strength. Reusable orthopedic surgical instrument must withstand harsh environment conditions during cleaning and reprocessing. In addition, these devices manipulate bone and have extreme forces imposed on them during use. These factors require them to be made from robust materials that can handle these kinds of physical, thermal, and chemical stress throughout their unexpected useful life. This robustness often translates into harder materials that can be challenging to machine, said Eric Wecker. Nowadays, coating materials are also used to enhance the manufacturing of surgical instruments. New coating materials that enhance the performance of surgical instruments continue to come into the market. For example, Picosun Group, a supplier of atomic layer deposition thin film coating solution, is working with Chinese hospital to test its atomic layer deposition technologies as a way to create safer surgical procedures. Electrosurgical equipment uses higher temperatures to cut and separate tissue, simultaneously coagulating blood, tissue, and blood sticking and burning on the blade during surgery can increase bleeding, tissue damage, tearing, and scarring. Picoson's ALD technology can be applied as ultra thin pinhole free coating over an anti adhesive micro patterning of the surgical blade, preventing blood and tissue from sticking to the blades. Next, we will discuss about the parts of the instruments. The size, length, and width of a surgical instrument usually determines the type and of surgery intended. Surgical instruments are specially designed tools or devices that perform a variety of procedures or operation. The overall design of an instrument is based on the function it will ultimately perform. For example, scissors and forceps are used for cardio, thoracic, and gynecology. Delicate scissors and forceps are used for ophthalmic and plastic surgeries. Sponge and towel clamps hold gauze or wall of surgical areas. Needle holders drive suture needles through tissue. Retractors access and expose wounds. Curates cut or scrap bones or sockets. Bone files and rasp smooth bone and cartilage. Bone chisels and osteotomies cut and mark a bone. Next, we will discuss the instrument categorization. Surgical instruments are one of the most important component of a surgical procedures, and they are quite literally an extension of the practitioner's hands. When the surgical team is appropriately acquainted with the name, function, and proper handling of the multitude of instruments available to them, it not only enhances the surgical procedure but it positively shapes the entire experience for the ultimate end user, the patient. The instrument are classified by functions. The nine categories are accessory, clamping and occluding, cutting and dissecting, grasping and holding, dilating and propping, exposing and retracting, aspirating and suctioning, stapling and studying and viewing. We will discuss it one by one. So number one is the accessory. An accessory is an instrument that doesn't fit into a category, but it is an important part of the surgical procedure and has a specific function. Example of accessories are harmonic scalps and guide pins. The other one is clamping and occluding, used to compress or closed blood vessels or hollow organs. For homeostasis or occlusion, examples are sterile homeostatic forceps and tube occluding clubs. The other one is cutting and dissecting, used to separate or incise, dissect or excise soft or compact tissue with a variety of cutting edges and designs. Examples are iris scissors and curettes. The other one is grasping and holding. Grasping and holding instruments are designed to grip, manipulate, and stabilize body tissues. They may also be used to extract foreign bodies. Examples are Alice tissue forceps. And the other one is dilating and probing. These instruments are used to probe, expand, examine, or create an anatomic passage to enlarge or open a structure to introduce another instrument. Examples are Hank uterine dilator. The other one is exposing and retracting, designed to pull aside or hold back wound edges and other tissue to gain access to the surgery or operation site. These instruments are usually called retractors with blunt blades that may be curved or angled or with sharp or dull prongs. Blades vary in size, exposing and retracting, designed to pull aside or hold back wound edges and other tissue to gain access to the surgery or operation sites. These instruments are usually called retractors with blunt blades that may be curved or angled or with sharp or dull prongs. Blades vary in size, and some retractors are double-handed or come in a different shapes, lengths, and widths depending on functional needs. Examples are bone hooks, Olkman retractors, and Zalkin retractors. The other one is aspirating and suctioning. Aspirating and suctioning instruments are used to remove blood and other fluids and debris from the operating site. These instruments are hollow, tipped, and come in a variety of sizes and shapes for ease of access. Examples are cannulas, aspiration suction tubes, stapling and studding, used to align, secure, and approximate the edge of soft or compact tissue for healing. They may employ implants like sutures, staples, clip wires, or screws. Examples are needle holders, suture needles, and terminal and staplers. Viewing instruments allow the practitioner to illuminate a cavity or structure such as nasal cavity. Example include endoscopes, nasal specula, and lighted vaginal specula. And we will discuss about our overall results. The challenges for many manufacturers not so much meeting validations. They have had many years to own these skills. Instead, the challenge is getting original instrument manufacturer recognize the value in improving a process and improving the extra investment or cost. When the contract manager sees an opportunity to improve a process, especially for a product it has been manufacturing for years, the customer is often reluctant to change anything about the process because of the upfront cost. For example, if you are making a 10-year-old product, chances are they're newer, better. But if you are changing the process, any change even to a better machine would require another set of validation, which can be more cost than the customer can justify.